When you take your RV into a service center, there's a lot of different maintenances and services they're going to offer you. After all, they're a business. That's what they do. And the number one I get asked about is an RV roof wash. So the question today is an RV roof wash actually a necessary service, or is it a scam? But the main question is, do you need it? And the answer is yes. Let's talk about why. Over time, of course, your roof membrane can get a little dirty. It's not so much the dirt we're after, because after all, it's the roof. Nobody's going to see it. Your seals as well will get a little dirty. The main reasons I recommend a roof wash is, one, some of those organic matters that fall on your roof can actually cause your seals to dry out prematurely. Same with your roof membrane. Remember, this is a membrane, it's a pliable material. But the other part is the treatment. This is a product made by Thetford. It's not my favorite one, but it's what the dealer carries. And you'll see that it says it's a cleaner and a conditioner. The conditioner part is what's important. Why? Because it's going to help keep the roof soft and pliable, and then of course protect it from UV rays, which is what actually primarily breaks down your roof membrane as well as your sealants. Now, I've seen plenty of people say that you can just use Dawn dish soap or a mild detergent to clean your roof, which is 100% true. But some of those things can actually dry out the roof and be a little counterproductive. So make sure that you're using an RV roof treatment afterwards. So yes, you can use pretty much whatever detergent you'd like to use as long as it's mild. Make sure you follow it up with an RV treatment. This is a 2-in-1 product that I'm using, but they do sell separate products that are almost like an Armor All that help treat the roof and then of course protect it from those UV rays. So we know the RV roof wash is important. It's inexpensive, very easy to do, and you really only have to do it like once a year, once every 2 years. It's not something you need to do regularly. You just want to make sure that it's something you are putting in your maintenance schedule. Now, my trick is I like to work in small sections. I usually will pre-wet that area before I spray the actual cleaner and treatment on it so I can help it spread around a little better. And most of these products are going to come in a container that has some form of sprayer on it. And I'm just going to evenly spray. I'll be honest, I spend a little more time getting it on the seals. I also like to make sure I get my vent lids and everything underneath there. So if you do have vent covers, like this customer did, make sure that you're removing those so that you can actually get to the sealant underneath it. And I'll tell you why that's important here once we start cleaning. The next thing you're gonna need is really easy. Deck scrub brush and a little bit of elbow grease. Work your way around that area that you've pre-treated and scrub away. Be careful not to hit any of your vents or knock into any of those, because it's not that hard to crack some of that stuff. That's another point in the UV treatment, is to help stop the breakdown of some of those plastic components. Something else you might run into are areas like this that deck scrub brush does not necessarily fit into. So you might need to find yourself a smaller brush so that you can get into some of these areas and clean those up as well. You'll also find this smaller brush is much easier to get underneath vents and things like that, and make sure you're getting all the debris out from underneath there. One thing I'd like to note as well, especially while I'm giving all these little fine details here, is early on I mentioned that I like to work in small places, and one of the reasons for that is you don't want this product to start drying as you're trying to clean other things. So make sure you're being mindful, especially when you have areas like this. Maybe get these areas beforehand before you start spraying and scrubbing large bodies. And once you scrub all those areas, get all that out of the way, your next step is just going to be rinsing. And rinse it nice and good. Keep in mind, you'll probably be doing an RV wash after this, because all of this dirt and grime will be running down the sides, and you don't want that stuck on the actual body of the RV. Anytime I do one of these, it pretty much always includes a full wash as well, because let's face it, all this dirt, grime, oxidation is coming off the roof and running down the sides. It starts to dry and makes the RV look pretty terrible. One thing that will help you here too is utilizing your leveling system to lift the front end or the rear end higher than the other side. That way the water will all run in one direction, and usually you'll have a lot less pooling when you do that. Makes it a little easier to get everything off of the roof so you're not chasing these dirty puddles around. So now, even though it's wet over here, we haven't cleaned yet, you can see the before and then the after. And again, the after is not so much about how clean everything is, it's about removing any oxidation and dirt and debris from the roof and those organic materials. Another thing that's important about your roof being clean is that it makes it much easier to spot gaps and voids in your sealant. When you don't have a clean surface, dirt can actually pack into some of those voids and make them next to impossible to see. So having a clean roof will help you inspect your roof better so that you can see if you have potential leaks. A perfect example would be this void we have right here, which if this roof were any dirtier and covered in dirt, that little void might be filled with dirt and very hard to see. We have another one right over here at the skylight. We have a small void in the roof there as well. Again, if this were any dirtier, this roof isn't actually as bad as most of the ones I do. That hole would potentially be covered by dirt and grime, and you wouldn't even know it existed. Yet, it is a perfect spot for water to enter. I hope by now I've gotten my point across a little bit that a roof wash is definitely more than just a gimmick to make your roof clean. Of course, it's nice having clean things, but the clean part of it is the least of your worries. It's the treatment and getting those grimes off of your roof. So I'm gonna finish up on this half of the roof. Since this is a smaller Class C, I split it into 2 parts. On a bigger Class A or 5th wheel, you may want to break it into 3 or 4 parts. But I'll finish up this job here. We'll look at the final result, and then we'll take a look around and see what kind of sealant gaps we can find that may not have been as easy to find before. So I've got pretty much all of the soap off of this roof and it's clean. Again, the main purpose is not for cleanliness, as you will have some spots like down here that just won't come up, and that's fine. You're not worried about staining on the roof. Again, it is nice to have a clean roof, but it's not 100% what you're after here with a roof wash. And again, before you go crazy doing anything else, remember, even if you're not going to do a full RV wash, you should still rinse the body of the RV off so all of this dirt, scum, and soap gets removed from the side of the coach. So we'll do that real quick, and I won't bore you guys with washing this whole thing. It's pretty straightforward, right? So we're just about done rinsing this off and getting all the soap and nasty stuff from the roof off the body of the coach. Let's go back up to the roof and take a look at what we find. So now the roof is dry. The reason I had to wait for it to dry is I'm also going to be doing some spot sealing from all the things I found. Now, on the note of what I found after washing the roof, let's go over them. We can start with one of the ones I showed you during the wash. So there is void number 1. Void number 2 and 3 are the small void here, and at the end of that corner cap, we also have some loose sealant. The sealant inside this corner cap does not look great either, but I won't count that one on the roof. So far we're at 3. Number 4 is another one that we saw during the roof wash, and that corner cap sealant isn't looking that great either. So we found 4 actual gaps. These screw heads are not far from poking their way through. They could definitely do with a spot treatment, so we'll count all of those. It's number 5. Got another screw here that I'm going to touch up, but I won't count that one. We're at 5, and if you look over here, we have another gap, which makes 6. Coming over to the front, we have number 7, nice little hole there. And number 8, another little hole. It still has a little bit of water in it, so we got to get that out. And then of course, the corner here, not looking too great. These 2 little fish mouths here, where water can get underneath the sealant, aren't exactly a huge problem, but I'm still going to touch them up. So we'll count the 2 of those together as 9. And then over here at the other front corner, we do have a potential gap coming up here. It's definitely sunken in. And again, the corners are not looking great. So that's 10 things that I found after doing a roof wash that could be potential leaks that may have been hidden by dirt or debris being stacked up on top of it doing a regular roof inspection. This is another big reason you should be doing the roof wash. Besides treating and keeping the roof clean of those organic debris, you'll also want to be able to inspect properly for any potential leaks. Now, those 10 areas I found, maybe they're not leaking now, but they will be after a period of time. Water will start to seep underneath that sealant, and cause a lot of problems. So is a roof wash a scam or an actual maintenance that you should be doing? We're gonna call it something you should be doing. Something that I'd recommend you do yourself. Again, if you aren't able to, or hey, if you just don't want to, bring it into the dealer once a year or once every 2 years and get it done by the dealer. That's not a big deal. I'm not gonna judge you. But it is a very easy task to do, and you can stay on top of it yearly and save a bunch of money and save yourself a bunch of potential money by inspecting the roof afterwards and making sure you have no leaks. If you'd like to see any more services or maintenances debunked, you think they might be a scam, you think, hey, do I really need this? Leave it in the comments, we'll get to them. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more tech tips, tricks, and even some tours, make sure you guys press that subscribe button.